At Christmas dinner, my brother slapped me, shoved me hard and sneered. "Get out of my house, parents." Just sat there, watching coldly while I stumbled into the yard. Bruised and silent 1 week later, a package arrived at their doorstep. Dad's frantic voice left 43 missed calls. "It was all a mistake," I replied with 3 words: "Get out. Now. Don't act like you didn't know." The words slammed into the room harder than the fist on the table. Glass rattled, silverware clinked, and the Christmas lights outside blinked against the tense silence inside. I sat at the edge of the dining table, my hands trembling just enough that I tucked them beneath my sleeves. The turkey was half carved, untouched, the gravy already cold. "You're lying, Ezra!" My brother's voice cracked as he pointed straight at me, his face red, spit glinting on his lip. "Tell them the truth before I do." My parents just sat there, watching, silent. My name is Ezra Cade, 26 years old, the youngest, the quiet one. I've learned that silence is safer. It keeps you from being dragged into their storms. But silence also paints a target on your back. And here's what no one in this room knows. I've kept my silence too long. Longer than they realize. Family members introduced. Caleb Cade, 31, my older brother. Loud, arrogant, the self-declared head of the family. The kind who slaps the back of your head and calls it love. Maeve, our sister, 29. Sharp tongue, arms always crossed. She laughs when things get cruel. Father, Russell, a man who built his pride on overtime shifts, but now treats every word like wasted breath. He dismisses me with a single wave. Mother, Iris. She cries without sound, shoulders shaking but voice trapped in her throat. And yet, as I watched them argue, I realized something. Every single one of them was hiding more than they admitted. "This isn't about money," Caleb shouted, standing up so fast his chair almost tipped over. His face was red, his fists tight. "It's about the house. Dad promised it to me. Everyone knows it." I finally spoke. My voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the noise. Promised? Strange. Because I remember something very different. Maeve laughed, short and bitter. "Oh, Ezra, don't act smart. You were always hiding in your room. You don't even know what was happening in this family." But I did. I remembered every word, every whisper. Caleb's chest rose and fell like he couldn't breathe. Then his mouth betrayed him. "If you tell them what happened last year, I swear I'll..." Oop, he stopped too late. The entire room froze. Dad's fork slipped from his hand and hit the plate with a loud clang. Mom stopped breathing, her glass shaking in her hand. Maeve's smirk dropped. "Last year." The word hung in the air like a knife. "Last year?" Dad's voice was sharp, full of suspicion. "What happened last year, Caleb?" Caleb looked down at the table, avoiding Dad's eyes. Maeve looked like she wanted to disappear. Mom's lips trembled as she whispered, "Please, don't." But I leaned forward, pressing my palms on the table. My voice was steady, clear. "You all want to fight about the house, about money. But this is not about money." Everyone stared at me now. For the first time, they were forced to listen. "This is about what you all did to me. What you kept hidden. What you let destroy me." 19 years old. That was the year they broke me. Caleb went behind my back and took a loan in my name. $18,000. I didn't know until the letters came, until the calls started. When I begged for help, Dad looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Be a man. Handle your mistakes." Maeve laughed in my face. "You're pathetic, Ezra. You can't even handle money." And Mom. She just whispered the same line she always used. "We don't show family mistakes to outsiders." I carried that pain alone, day after day, until one night I came home late, dragging my broken body like a shadow. I went into the garage, and there it was. Caleb handing a fat envelope of cash to Dad. Dad taking it without hesitation. They knew. All of them knew. They didn't save me. They used me. I covered your debt, Dad said suddenly, voice filled with fake pride. I stared at him, my jaw tight. No, you didn't cover my debt. You covered Caleb's. That money was never mine, and I can prove it. From my coat pocket, I pulled out a thick envelope and placed it on the table. Papers spilled across the wood. Bank statements, signatures, loan documents. The sound of those pages hitting the table was louder than any scream. Look carefully, I said. Every signature forged, every amount stolen, every lie with my name on it. Caleb lunged forward, trying to grab the papers. I pulled them back. You thought I was quiet because I was weak, I said, looking each of them in the eye. No. I was quiet because I was waiting for this moment. Maeve's face turned pale. Her mouth opened, but no words came. The room exploded. Caleb screamed so loudly, his spit hit the plates. You think you're better than me? You're nothing without me. You'd still be a loser if I hadn't carried you all these years. Dad's face turned red as he pointed at me. You ungrateful brat! You're destroying this family with your lies! Mom cried so hard, she dropped her wine glass, the red liquid spreading across the floor like blood. Stop it! Please, stop it! But the biggest shock came when Maeve, who always mocked me, suddenly shouted at Caleb. He's right, Caleb. Ezra is right, and you know it. You ruined him. For the first time in years, she wasn't laughing. She was shaking. The chaos was loud, violent, endless. But I didn't shout. I didn't fight. I stood still and waited for the noise to collapse under its own weight. Finally, I pushed my chair back, stood tall, and said, For years I gave you silence. Tonight I give you truth. The silence that followed was heavier than all their screams. I walked out. The December night hit me like fire and ice. The cold cut my skin, but it felt cleaner than the air in that house. My phone buzzed nonstop. Missed calls from Dad, dozens of angry voicemails from Caleb. Maeve sent one message. I'm sorry. For real this time. Please answer. I didn't. For the first time in my life, I didn't care if they hated me or begged me. I wasn't waiting for them anymore. They thought destroying me made them stronger. But the truth was the real punishment. The truth was now chained to them, not me. Weeks later, I sent them a package. A neat, simple box. Inside, every document, every proof. Caleb's fraud, Dad's lies, everything Maeve and Mom tried to bury. That night, Dad called me over 40 times. His voicemails were full of panic, anger, and finally, begging. When I finally answered, his voice cracked like a broken man. Ezra, please. We can fix this. We're family. Don't do this. I closed my eyes. My voice was steady, calm. Get out now. And I hung up. For the first time in my life, my chest felt light. The weight I carried since 19 was gone. And I realized, freedom doesn't come when your family accepts you. It comes when you no longer need them to. If you were in my place, would you forgive? Or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. Like if Ezra's pain hit you. Subscribe for more stories of betrayal, truth, and healing. Comment what you would have done. Maybe your story can help someone else find strength.